Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. A very welcome to my project. My project title name library management. So this is the first page. You see that the dashboard of library management. So there has separate three dialog box. You see that the customers, authors and books count. So in the customer count, you see that the total number of customers we have and the authors total number of authors we have, and also the numbers of total books and which kinds of books are really available. You also see that 4 books we have in our library and the 4 books are now available to lend or borrow. So that's the number are really depend on the customers lent and borrowed, and it's a very dynamic. If you add new customer, you also see that number of new customer, and if you add the author, then you also see increment the number. So it's a very dynamic. So let's see the things by order. So first we see that the customer, if you press the customer button, then you see that the dialog box say that you id and name, and the number of borrowed books is 0. Still the name Shahinul Haq didn't borrow any books. So you also see that the edit and delete button, you can work with the edit button, and also you can press the, if you delete button, then you activate the delete. So if you want to add the new customer, you just press the customer, just Shahinul Haq, that this is our new customer, create. Okay, if you add another new customer, just like uh, Mr. Arif, so create button, then you see that the number name Mr. Arif now added. So we want to add, we want to see the authors. There has 2 authors and the book. If you press the view book list, then you see that the author now wrote 2 books. Okay, so if you add the new authors, create new authors and write down that Kaji Najrul Islam, Kaji Najrul Islam, then you press the button create, then you that the Kaji Najrul Islam. So still he hadn't any books because the books we not included. So we want to add the books under Kaji Najrul Islam. So we just create new book, and Kaji Najrul Islam, we just want to the lives of poor peoples. It's a very interesting books. He's still the lives of poor peoples. Create. You see that the life poor people. So you can also edit that. Now you want to edit the lives of. So if you want to be update, then you can update the life of poor people. It's very interesting. If you add another book, you can create new book, and if you want to list it in the same author, just like Kaji Najrul Islam, and there the books is blah blah blah, create, you see the another book Kaji Najrul Islam. So the author details is that very nice interface, that the 3 authors Kaji Najrul Islam we now included very newly. If you see the view book list of Kaji Najrul Islam, then the press the view book list, the book list you seen. So now the sequence of land a book, how can we land a book? It's a very nice interface. If you press that's the books to land, then he just asks to that which customer you want to land. Then I want to land to Shahinul Haq. If you press the button of land, then it's very dynamic. Just send it to the Shahinul Haq. We can see after later. If you want to send another books to send to a different customer, so you can see that Mr. Arif and land. Very interesting. Now it's just like lace from your list, and it's now stored on the customers books view list or borrowed list. So if you want to see that return back, the 2 books now are stored. If you need to borrow it, then you can be also returned it. So let's check the customers. That the thing very interesting. The Shahinul Haq borrowed 1 books, and the Mr. Arif borrowed 1 books. So if you check the books of Shahinul Haq, then the press button of show, you see that the book. Okay, and if you check the book, of Mr. Arif, then that if you are not first, you are last. So it's a very interesting. Also, you see that now we add before before start the thing, we see that there had 3 customers. Now we see that there has 4 customers. Increment, it's a very dynamic. Now total number of books is 6, or 4 books are available, because we know that the first had 6 books, but 2 books are now landed. So now we see that the 4 books are available. So if you want to work with a return, then we just press the return button. It just like returned. So you see that books now is included, and the customer, that's the thing, Mr. Arif now returned the book, so the borrowed books count is 0. So this is the author details. If you want to create new author, then you can do that. So this is the part of my library management system. I think it's really effective, and it's a very dynamic work. So thank you so much for listening to me.